We're back with another one. I think today is our last day in Bangkok. Tomorrow we leave. We head back to Perth. So we're filming this one from the apartment that we've been staying at. You can see some of the city behind us. And we're pretty much just going to talk about some of the lessons that we've learned over the last couple of weeks traveling. We was in Bali together. We did Ubud, we did Canggu, and now we're in Thailand, obviously. So
yeah,
we'll jump into those. Do you want to kick it off with the first lesson that you learnt?
let's just run it. Let's just jump straight in.
All right.
It's hot as fuck.
It is super hot. Okay, first one that I wrote down was about the people that you have around you. I think that's been a big lesson for me whilst traveling. And the reason that I say that is because I think certain things are just easier when you've got the right people around you. If people are on the same wavelength and you've got the same mindset, the same ambitions, the same goals, working towards something feels so much easier and the outcome is so much easier to achieve as well. So I found that, especially like one day in Ubud when Ellis and I both wanted to film some content. We both do a bit of running, we go to the gym, we work out, and we was like, okay, well, we'll wake up, we'll do a run. And it just made it so much easier to get the content and everything we needed because we understood each other.
Understood the assignment, bro.
Yeah, just understood the assignment, literally. And I think, just making sure that you surround yourself with the right people, especially when you're striving towards something like the outcome we wanted from that morning, which was good content. And we was able to get it so easily because we both knew there was no judgment involved at all. It's just like, okay, sweet, camera's on. Let's help each other get the best possible shots.
Yeah.
But that goes for anything. That's not just to say content. Like if you're working towards something, make sure you have those people around you that are on the same mission. They're working towards the same thing. What the fuck was that, bro?
What was that?
God. What?
Oh, that's a cool day.
Yeah, FYI, we're on the 31st floor of a apartment building where there was fucking earthquake signs in our bedroom. The walls cracked, shit's cracked, and now there's loud bangs going on behind us.
That'll be sweet, bro.
Okay, I'm actually nervous after hearing that. Eh? You want to touch on that point anyway?
No, I completely agree. Like, especially when you're first starting out with something, being around people that have done it before and can give you first-hand assistance, I should say, or tips and tricks, helps out massively. Example for content as well. I know we're trying to stay off the content stuff, but for me, I've just started this whole content creation thing, or at least started diving into it. And being with Danny has really opened my eyes to what I'm actually capable of with content, because otherwise I would have just been clueless. Danny showed me how to semi-use a camera. I've seen how he, edits his videos, what his process is and everything like that. So getting that first-hand experience and looking at the behind the scenes of it all has helped out a lot, and it's given me a lot of confidence and reassurance going forward when I do eventually have to do this by myself.
Yeah.
Which is right around the corner.
Yeah, it's coming up pretty soon.
I have to buy a nice little cam because Danny's got this big boy.
The big cinema camera.
Yeah.
That Ellis has been having the joy of using recently.
And we found out I'm actually not that bad at using a camera. Hey?
No, vlogging is actually quite natural to him, man. I think he's like undercover vlogger.
Yeah. Maybe not with the DJI. I don't like the DJI. That shit annoys me when it tracks everything. But
You can turn that off.
yeah, when I'm trying to like turn around and stuff, I can't figure out. But anyway, I'm gonna get a Sony FX 30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Along them lines, a bigger camera. I think for me that's gonna. It's not hiding anything at that point. Like you're vlogging to vlog, you know what I mean? Like you're not trying to beat around the bush. Like it's intention.
Yeah, 100%. Like you're not. Yeah, like you said, you're not trying to hide it.
Yeah.
You're doing it because you know it's going to benefit you, and
Yeah.
if you're going to do it loud.
Yeah.
Let me just.
And that brings us on to the next point, actually.
Yeah.
That brings us on to the next point of another thing that I learned while being here is that you just have to not give a single fuck
Yeah.
of what people think. And we came to the realization that the only reason that you do give a fuck when you're back home is because you have that underlying fear that you're going to see these people that see your content in real life. And that's what people are scared of. They don't, for me anyway, I don't really care what people message me or say online and stuff like that. But if I was to meet someone in person and they were to say something, like, not that they would, because some people, you know, they'd just rather be keyboard warriors. But if someone wants to say it, it'd be like, it's pretty awkward. I mean, I give it back to them, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just an awkward situation that you don't want to come across, right?
It's been interesting, like, seeing that play out, because here and in Bali, like, I didn't care at all what anybody thought. And I don't know if it's because it felt more natural to be doing the things that we were doing, like filming every day, you know, working on laptops in certain places, etc. It's just like, well, it felt so normalized, whereas back home in Australia, it's just like there is a certain level of tall poppy syndrome, and it's actually quite big back there.
Yeah.
And when you do certain things, you just feel like, I feel a big sense of judgment. Like, I feel like there's certain things that I can't do or would do less of because of the people that are watching me.
Yeah.
And seeing that play out here and how that trait just sort of disappeared has been pretty eye-opening. And I'm still trying to learn internally why that is the case for me and why I can't take the things that I do, wash them away and do them back home.
Yeah.
But as Ellis said, it's just like, stop giving a fuck, basically.
Yeah, and we did honestly come on this trip with the intention of getting a lot of content, so that helps as well.
Yeah, like we were
having that mission in mind.
Yeah,
before we started
100%.
doing it.
Like, that was always the idea, was we're going to come out here, we're going to shoot a bunch of content, and knowing that that's the case, and then actually seeing it play out makes it a whole lot easier. Whereas if you just came to a place and like, well, just see what happens, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a lot more difficult, I think. But yeah, I think that's a good one. Give less fucks, take more action.
I like it.
Next one. I brought this one up this morning, and that is that the people make the place. And the reason that I said this is because right now we're in Bangkok. Ellis is moving here in about a month's time. I've not been to Thailand since I was about 14 years old. That was the last time I was here. And my first impressions were like massive culture shock. Like, I didn't know what to think of it. Like, it felt like GTA. Like, it just didn't feel real. It felt like a simulation. And then I came here, I was like, all right, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I'll try it. I'll see a new place. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And then as the trip went on, I was like, well, it's actually the people that make the place. Like, it doesn't matter where you go as long as you've got the right people around you. Again, coming back to that first point, spending the time with Ellis, it's like we could have been anywhere, but the things that we do and the things that we talk about and the conversations that we have make the experience. That's been a big one for me, especially in Bali as well. Like, we was around a lot of people. Like, I had my brothers there, we had friends there, my partner was there. It's just like, I really think that the people do make the place, and you can go anywhere and have a good time if you've got the right people around you.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like I've done, in Bali, for example, I've done many trips to Bali in my lifetime. Some of them have been with family, some of them have been with the boys when we were younger.
Yeah.
And then like this one here with Danny. And it's a completely different trip every time, depending on who you're with. As much as you like to tell yourself you're going to go there and do what you want to do, if you're going with other people, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
So, definitely agree with that. Like, the people do make the place, or the type of trip that you are going on, if you are traveling, or where you're living or whatever, definitely makes a massive difference.
Yeah, so it comes back to that first point of literally just surrounding yourself with the right people. And like, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean to say like cut off certain people because you're going to go to a place and party a lot more than you would if you went with someone else. But just be intentional with, like, if you're going to a place and you know in your mind, like, you've got work to do, and you're like, okay, well, I need to lock in for a bit, so I'm going to go with someone, I'm going to go by myself. But if I'm going with someone, then I'm going with someone that's on the same mission, they want to do the same thing. Therefore, I'm going to get a better outcome, rather than saying, like, I've got to go to a place. I'm going to a place, I know I've got work to do, and you go with a party friend. It gets a bit difficult.
Yeah, 100%.
So something to consider. Just always be intentional with where you put your energy and who you give your time to as well. Like, you have to be selfish in that case, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, get yourself away from wherever you don't want to be for a bit and give yourself time to do what you want to
Like,
do.
don't let it stop you from living your life by any means, but just be mindful.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next one. Oh yeah, so this one, I want to know some of the things that you've learned from the trip that you're going to implement more into your business.
Main thing for me is just the content side of things. Hey, like, I haven't really had the chance to meet that many people in like the info space while I've been on this trip.
Yeah.
As much as I would like to, but the other side of my business now is going to be focusing on my personal brand for client acquisition and everything like that. So I've met a lot of people that have strong personal brands or are aspiring to have strong personal brands. So I've taken a lot of value from them and what they're doing, what their intentions are with their brand, which I think I'll be able to take and implement into my own brand or systems, whatever I want to do with that. And yeah, being with Danny as well for this, I don't think we've spent like this long of a period together.
No, like
before.
it's been difficult when we're back home because you've obviously been working and we usually only get like weekends, and even then like we get a lot done, but we have some good work sessions, but being able to do it over like a prolonged period of time, you really start to see the benefits.
And again, it just comes back to surround yourself with the same people.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the underlying message of this conversation.
Yeah, I think it's been the most of our
Yeah,
conversations. to be honest.
100%. But it is such a big point and such an important factor. For me, something that I'm taking away, a conversation I had specifically with a friend of mine called Jack Williams. He owns a podcast agency called Dojo. And I sat down with him and another one of our friends, Dylan, who I was in Bali with. And what I learned from him was the importance of systems. I'm not a system guy at all. Like, I'm a creative person. Systems for me are so difficult. And he was the same. He comes from the same background, a creative space. And then he showed me the back end of his business and his offer that he's working on with his clients. And I was completely taken back. Hey? Like, seeing some of the back end systems that he's put in place to make sure that his business runs as smoothly and as efficiently as possible. We're just like, like I can really understand now like where the value comes from for his clients, but how he's able to, operate at such a high level, working with so many different people and so many different projects, and still have peace of mind and achieve the outcomes that they need. That's been big for me because I've always put systems to the side because it's something that I've got this underlying belief that I'm not good at. Like I say I'm not a systems person, but after seeing that and then understanding that that's probably the case for a lot of successful business owners that are living abroad and doing it online, it really makes sense to me now that I've got to become that person and implement that side of the business into my business.
Yeah, that comes back to something we talked about with Corbin the other night, where it doesn't matter if you're a systems person or not, eventually you're going to have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And he mentioned, or it's reiterated to me, that you can't have scatterbrain when it comes to knowledge and learning. Like, if you have a problem that you have to fix, do everything in your power to fix that before you move on to the next thing or start learning other skills. And double down on that until that bottleneck is taken out of your business. Because ultimately that's going to stop you from scaling. It's going to stop you from getting from A to B or B to C, wherever you're at. So, he said that really well. I don't know if you got to see the footage or not because you caught the audio. But he said the biggest thing for him has been identifying his problems and his bottlenecks and doubling down on that until that's fixed and then moving on to the next. Because if you try to do too many things at once, as much as you think you're a big brain boy, it's not going to go well. You're going to get scatterbrained and you're going to put your focus into things that don't need to be focused on, because when it all comes down to it and you've got all of these things that you are trying to prioritize, you're only going to get time to do the things you want to do. Or the things you enjoy doing the most. So cut all that shit out and just focus on the bottlenecks until they're finished. Or taken care of, and then move on.
I think on that point also, again, like, if you're struggling with something, as Corbin was saying, like, focus on that one thing, but don't make it difficult for yourself. Like, don't make it harder than it needs to be. So for me, I would say now I'm not a systems person, and I could say that, and I could do nothing about it, or I could tap into the resources that I've got available to me and speak to the people that are good at building systems. So I can speak to Jack, I can speak to Ellis because Ellis uses systems inside his business. I can try and understand the things that they use, the tools that they use to do certain things, and then that's going to make my life easier. Don't try and do everything by yourself. I think that's important to know.
And it's just reframing your identity as well at that point. Like a good example is, you know, say you're a smoker or you smoke.
Yeah.
And if you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm a smoker, you're not going to be able to quit smoking.
Yeah.
You tell yourself you're not a smoker, and I think it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
There's something in Atomic Habits about it.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
It's just a identity reframe of yourself. Tell yourself you're the person that you want to be, and tell yourself that you can solve the problems you want to solve, and it'll make it that much easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Yeah. All right, move on to the next one. And the last one that I've got is just about one of the things that I've learned whilst being away is everyone that I've seen succeeding in the online space, bringing it back to business again, they are so intentional about what they do. Like everyone's super intentional. They're on a mission. They know exactly what it is. They've got clearly defined goals, and then they've got the action steps they take that they need to take to achieve the goals.
Yeah.
And that's been massive for me. When you're in a place like Bali, there's a lot of digital nomads, and you can choose to look at them in a couple of different ways, but if you try and strip back what they're doing and, you know, see how they do certain things and how they're striving towards whatever it is they're striving, I think there's a lot to take away from those people. Yeah. And the biggest thing that I've taken away just from seeing them is that, you know, no matter what they're working on, they're very clear on that thing.
Yeah.
And nothing else outside of that matters.
Yeah. No, that's it. And it's just like sometimes the goals can be overwhelming if you look at it from the big picture and the output side of things. But if you can strip it back to the inputs and what inputs you have to put in to reach them goals, it becomes a lot more attainable, or it seems a lot more attainable.
Yeah.
So if you do have a big goal at the moment, strip it back, reverse engineer it, figure out what specific inputs you have to do to get to that goal. If it's 50K a month, you think, how do I get to 50K a month? You instead think, how can I get X amount of calls booked into my calendar so I could close X amount of people to get to X amount per month?
Yeah.
That's just a quick example, but something along them lines.
Yeah, and again, coming back to a previous point that I said, don't make it harder for yourself than it needs to be.
Yeah.
If you're being intentional, it doesn't have to be long-winded. It can be really simple. Find someone that's done it, reverse engineer what they do, and implement it into your own life and relate it back to your own goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Short and sweet one, yeah.
Because I'm sweating again. This seems to be a theme for these Bangkok
Yeah.
ones as well.
Bangkok's ridiculously hot. I think it's way hotter than Bali.
It is, yeah. It's humid because it's rainy season.
What's the plan for the rest of the afternoon? Give us a breakdown, Ellis.
Mr. Finley Gilmore sitting behind the camera. He's taking us to a rave. Nah, we're going out. We're going to see one of our friends, DJ, and then early night because we've got a flight tomorrow morning, so it won't be too crazy. But
yeah,
a little bit of letting loose a little bit on the last night.
Yeah.
I don't know when Danny's
back.
going to be back in Bangkok, so we've got to make the most of it.
I was saying just before, like, I wouldn't rush back to Bangkok, but I would come back to see Ellis and just lock in for a week or two. And it'd be nice to see it from a different point of view as well, because I think where we're staying's sort of left like a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. It's the party district.
Yeah, well,
you walk downstairs, there's marijuana for sale every 10 meters and prostitutes trying to take me home.
Yeah, people trying to sell you drugs.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, we had a bit of a mishap booking this. I don't know if we've mentioned it yet.
No.
We got our thing got cancelled like right before we flew out, so we were in a bit of a scramble, like 8 hours before our flight.
Yeah, literally midnight the day before our flight, we had to find new accommodation.
And the pictures of this place looked alright. I think we got a bit catfished.
We definitely got catfished, I reckon.
But yeah, the location has been the best, but I think we've made the most of a bad situation.
And again, like, the people make the place.
Yeah.
So I'll come back purely for the fact that Ellis is going to be living here. If I go and visit him at his new penthouse suite,
the place I'm looking at is going to be sick.
His new penthouse, then I think I'll have a different experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, the people make the place. I'll be back, and I think I'll have a different experience next time I do come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Overall thoughts on the trip? How do you feel about it?
Loved it. It was sick.
It's opened my mind up to a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I always leave a trip feeling super expansive. And I think that's why if you've not done much of it, or if you're feeling in a bit of a block, then maybe you need to
Just get away for a bit.
get away, change your environment, spend some time around good people, see some new places, and your mind will feel a lot bigger. You'll realize that the world is a lot bigger than what happens inside your head. And one of the ways to find that is by moving to new places and seeing new things and spending time with new people.
Yeah. Refresh your environment.
Yeah, refresh, reset. That's it. All right, we'll wrap it up there. We're gonna crack on with our last afternoon in Bangkok.
Yeah. We're gonna post that other one now, hey?
Yeah, I got to edit and post the other two. So sweet. Thanks for listening. And next time we'll see you will probably be at
The airport.
Bangkok's second grade.
We could do one in KL.
We'll do two. Hey?
All right, we'll do 2 tomorrow, and then maybe one on a Sunday. At home.
Yeah,
See.
we'll see what happens. But we'll try to get a couple more in before we go our separate ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, sweet. See you in the next one.
All right.